You are sitting alone in a quiet room. No phone, no music, no voice, just silence. Within a few minutes, something strange happens. Your mind starts to itch. You reach for your phone without even deciding to. You would rather do almost anything than sit there and listen to nothing. But the real answer for why this happens is far stranger than boredom. Your brain was never built for silence. For most of human history, silence did not mean peace. It meant danger. A quiet forest was a forest where the birds had stopped singing because a predator was near. A quiet camp was a camp that had been abandoned, or worse, one that had gone silent because something had already happened. Your ancestors who felt uneasy in silence were the ones who survived long enough to pass that unease down to you. The ones who relaxed too easily in the quiet did not always get the chance to have children. So your brain learned a rule. No sound means pay attention. Something is wrong. This is why the moment a room goes quiet, your body responds before your mind even catches up. Your ears strain. Your shoulders tense slightly. You glance towards the door without meaning to. This is not anxiety in the modern sense. This is an ancient alarm system still wired into you, still running the same code it ran 200,000 years ago. But there is a second reason silence feels unbearable, and this one has nothing to do with predators. It has to do with other people. Psychologist Kipling Williams spent decades studying what happens to the human mind when it is excluded from a group. In his famous cyberball experiments, he had participants play a simple ball-tossing game with two other players. What they did not know was that the other two players were not real. They were part of the experiment. After a few rounds, the computer-controlled players stopped throwing the ball to the participant. Nothing was said. Nothing was explained. The ball simply stopped coming. The result was immediate. Brain scans showed activity in the anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that lights up during physical pain. Being left out did not just feel bad. It hurt. Literally. Silence between people works the same way. When a conversation drops, when someone does not text back, when a room goes quiet after you speak, your brain does not interpret this as neutral. It interprets it as social exile. And for a species that survived by staying inside the tribe, exile was a death sentence. Being cast out meant no protection, no shared food, no one to warn you when danger came. So your nervous system still treats social silence as a 5-alarm fire, even when the silence is just your friend taking a while to reply. This is why you refresh your messages. This is why an unanswered text can quietly gnaw at you for hours. Your brain is not being dramatic. It is running a very old program in a very new world. There is a third layer to this, and it might be the strangest one. In 2014, psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran an experiment that sounds almost like a joke. He placed people alone in a room with nothing to do but think. No phone, no book, just their own mind for 15 minutes. Many participants described the experience as unpleasant. Then Wilson gave them an option. They could sit in silence, or they could press a button and give themselves a mild electric shock. A striking number of people chose the shock. Some of them had said earlier that they would pay money to avoid being shocked. And yet, alone with nothing but silence, they shocked themselves anyway. Just to have something happen. Why would a mind do this? Because your brain evolved to constantly scan, predict, and respond to its environment. Thinking was never meant to happen in a vacuum. It was meant to happen while walking, foraging, tracking, or talking. Your ancestors' minds were built for input. Strip the input away, and the mind doesn't calm down. It starts generating its own noise, And often that noise is worry, replay, and doubt. Silence doesn't empty the mind. It reveals what was already inside it. This is part of why so many people describe silence as uncomfortable rather than relaxing. It is not the quiet itself. It is what the quiet forces you to sit with. There is also a social layer to why humans specifically dislike silence, one that goes beyond fear and beyond thought. Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar has argued that language in humans evolved largely as a replacement for physical grooming. Other primates bond by picking through each other's fur for hours at a time. Humans could not do this at scale once our groups grew larger. So we developed something more efficient. Talk. Conversation became the new grooming. It signals trust. It signals belonging. It says, I see you, and you are safe with me. When two people sit together in comfortable conversation, they are performing a very old social ritual, just using words instead of hands. This is why silence between two people who are not close can feel so awkward. There is no grooming happening. No signal of belonging is being sent. The silence sits there, unfilled, and your brain reads it as a gap that needs to be closed. This is also why silence between people who are close does not feel the same way. Long-term couples, old friends, people who trust each other deeply, can sit together without speaking and feel completely at ease. The bonding signal has already been sent many times over for years. The silence is not a gap anymore. It is proof that the relationship does not need constant grooming to stay secure. So the discomfort of silence was never really about sound. It is about three ancient systems firing at once: a threat detector that treats quiet as danger, a social alarm that treats disconnection as exile, and a mind that was never built to sit idle, so it fills empty space with its own noise when nothing else is offered. Modern life did not create this discomfort. It just removed every excuse to avoid it. Your ancestors were rarely truly alone with silence. There was always a fire crackling, a child crying, footsteps, wind, something. Now you can sit in a perfectly quiet apartment with total ease of access to distraction, and the moment that distraction disappears, that old wiring switches on immediately. Next time silence starts to feel unbearable, notice what your body actually does first. Notice the urge to check your phone, to turn on music, to say something just to fill the air. That urge is not weakness. It is not a flaw in you. It is a 200,000-year-old survival instinct, doing exactly what it was designed to do, in a world that no longer needs it to. You reach for your phone in the quiet, not because you are bored, but because somewhere deep in your nervous system, silence still sounds like danger.